boy stressing. Show them see them partner get a blessing. So long me in the struggle and a fight. Me never know them no want me do the right.
Like you coming out there from Grams Morgan. Good morning. That's how we're starting the day right here on Good Morning Grenada. It is Missy Chrissy in the building, and we also have Gary, Mr. Smooth. Good morning.
Good morning, Missy. Good morning, Grenada. Carrick from Pretty Morning. I hope that all is well. How are you doing, Missy?
I'm doing fine. What about you?
I'm doing absolutely great. Had a wonderful long sleep last evening, so I'm charged and ready to go.
That's good. Sleep is important. Sleep is important. Good morning to you. If you're finished with your morning exercise, you came from the beach already, or you're heading to the beach, you're probably there making breakfast. Whatever it is, we're so happy that you're joining us here for Good Morning Grenada. We're live all the way until 8 a.m. on TV, radio, as well as Facebook and YouTube, so you can always check us out. It's K105.5 FM, Hot FM, as well as GBN TV, all right?
Don't forget to share up the live if you're on the Facebook Live right about now, YouTube as well. Let's welcome you guys. Share it up. We want to get some more people involved this morning. We got a nice program lined up for you, so make sure you share, like, and comment as well. We'll be endeavoring to go through as many as possible the comments on the live. So once again, it's Good Morning Grenada. Let's jump straight into it.
Indeed. 24 minutes on to 7 o'clock. It is Thursday, the 30th of June, the final day in June. We are halfway officially in the year 2022 as of midnight. You know what I mean? There's that split second of half, if you want to be real technical with it. All right, we have that update from the Ministry of Health and Social Security. 9 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 as of the 24th of June. 27 new recoveries, 0 new deaths, and 3 hospitalizations. Active cases stood at 118 as of the 24th. All right, so that was your update. Make sure you stay safe out there. Do all the things that you need to do to ensure that you are healthy, especially as the carnival season coming up. You know what I mean? So the word of the day is scintillate. I'm gonna scintillate your senses. Scintillate. All right, that's the word for the day. It's spelled SCINTILLATE. Scintillate. Scintillate means to dazzle or impress with liveliness or wit. We're using scintillate in a sentence. Her hilarious and topical stand-up routine absolutely scintillated. The audience brought her back for 2 encores. All right? So that is scintillate, your word for today.
Scintillate. Go ahead and use that word in a sentence today, all right? Let's move along this morning. It's Good Morning Grenada. Here's truly Gary, Mr. Smooth, and of course, Missy Chrissy in the building. Big and bold this morning. Let's go through your thought of the day. Life isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be lived. Sometimes good, other times rough. But with every up and down, you learn lessons that make you strong. So let's hope you learn some lessons today. Enjoy and have a beautiful day today. Indeed, a productive one as well. Your thought of the day.
That's a good one there. Sometimes we need that little reminder, you know? Now, did you know that every time you learn a new fact, your brain changes? It's called neuroplasticity. Yeah, that's interesting. Every time you learn a new fact, your brain changes. Interesting.
Changes. That's a strong word there, right? Brain just change up on your day.
Yeah, I mean, there's chemicals in the brain. There's, different things that change in terms of sizes, whether it's getting smaller or bigger or harder or softer. The brain is quite an interesting organ. So I love that fact, And I think it underscores the point of, they say it's always good to learn something new, whether it's every day or try something new. It really does help to improve your overall character.
Yeah, you're right. That definitely brings to focus that old saying.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's a reason for that. Now we know why.
There we go.
We know why. Hey, good morning to you once again. How is it in your neck of the wood? Is it raining? Had some interesting downpours yesterday.
It is pouring right now at the GBN studios.
Not
yes.
in my area. Not in my neck of the woods. It's not a drop. Not a drop. That's interesting. GBN is not too far away from me, so no, it's not raining in my area. So I guess I can anticipate some rain pretty soon. But yesterday I was caught dead in the middle of a heavy downpour, and my wiper blade was not moving fast enough.
One of those, right?
Yeah. It's like, what's going on here? Yeah. So.
Oh no, yeah, those are the worst, because I think, especially when there's wind with it, it makes it very difficult to see while driving, and that's why it's so important to slow down a little bit while driving, or simply stay off the roads as well, because town is just like a stone's throw away from the studio here. Yeah. So if you're heading into the city, make sure and walk with all the things you need to stay dry, if staying dry is on your agenda for today, all right?
Nixon, Mitchell, Matthew, Moraine, Glenroy, St. Louis, Elisa, Francis, just a few of the folks on the live and commenting right about now. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Share it up. Let's go. How about that? So we're going to do a giveaway courtesy of our friends at the Movie Palace. All right. So I want you guys to get close to your phone, because we'll expect you to call. All you need to do is to give us the names of 4 of the movies currently showing at the Movie Palace. So the first person calling us right now with the correct answer wins a ticket to the Movie Palace. Give us the names of 4 of the movies currently showing at the Movie Palace. I got a list in front of me, so I'm ready to go. Are you? Let's take some calls. All right, it's Good Morning Grenada.
The number to call is 435-2041, and you can be a winner this morning once you get the answer correct, all right? You have just a few seconds to do that. Yeah, those Twitter thumbs going right now.
Yeah. Is the first come, first serve, innit? That's how we're working it here this morning. So. Yeah. Let's see if we got a winner. We got a caller this morning. All right.
Good morning. You're live. Good morning.
Lost out.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Where are you calling us from?
Springs, St. George.
Springs?
Yes.
Oh, nice. What's your name?
Angel Stanislas.
Angel, do you have the answer for us this morning?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The first one is Lightyear, Jurassic World, Top Gun, and Downton Abbey.
Downtown. Hold on. One of the movies you've mentioned there is wrong. So guess what? We're gonna allow you to put down and give someone else a chance. I was really wanting to give you that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, one of the movies is wrong. All right. So let's see if we can get another caller up on the line. We're getting ready for the news. Missy's ready.
Yeah, we have to go now, actually. So we can.
Oh, come on. We got to go now, guys. After the news then?
We'll have to do that after the news. All right. So thank you so much. Remember the question, and we're going to get into it right after the weather forecast this morning. All right. So stay tuned. Morning edition of the news up next.
Good evening. This is GBN's News at 7. The tropical storm warning for Grenada was discontinued Wednesday morning. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, issued the all-clear following the compilation of reports of the impacts of the system throughout the state of Grenada. This action officially ends activation of all emergency plans and activities taken as a result of the threat which existed. Inches of rain dumped on the island from the passage of a weather system had Grenada and its dependencies under tropical storm warning. The impact was felt at different locations around the country with downed trees, flooding, and land slippage. Christina John was out and about Wednesday and has more in this report.
The island of Grenada has experienced the impact of tropical cyclone number 2, dumping heavy rains on the island overnight into this morning. The all-clear was given early Wednesday morning, moving tropical storm warning notice from Grenada and its dependencies. However, heavy rains overnight resulted in a number of issues for many. As GBN's camera crew made the rounds, we were told that minor damage was done to properties in River Road area after the lower part of the St. John's River burst its banks once more. Madam Rasa, vendor and small business owner, says water impacted her business as usual. However, she has learned her lesson from past experiences.
The flood came twice last night. It was water, not so much as the last flood, but it was heavy enough because it reached me by my knee. They got flood, but I put everything on top. What I put on top of the roof, what I put on top of the fridge, the table. I had experience enough with the flood, so I wouldn't get hit easy anymore.
GBN caught up with the NDC's immediate candidate for the town of St. George, Claudette Joseph, who believes the completed portion of the St. John's River flood mitigation project somewhat helped alleviate a part of the flooding issue.
It seems as though the wall where it is completed has somewhat helped. Because most of the damage and the silt in the road and so is in this end where there's some spaces in the wall still because it's under construction or there's no wall as yet.
What we are looking at here is a massive land slippage that has taken place on entrance to the Moncuma Road. This would most definitely lead to a delay or even an extension to the Moncuma Road project. Our news crew got hold of Joseph Gilbert, project manager for the Moncuma Road project, whose team was on the ground conducting an assessment of damage as a result of the heavy rains.
Challenge, but that's what happens when you have those kind of works, especially when you have storms and so on. You expect to have some sort of damage. We are happy that it is minimal, bearing in mind the extent of rainfall that we have had overnight. The areas where we have had drains in place, we have had less problems. But this section here from the Bolio end, we have yet to put in the drainage systems and the retaining walls and so on. So that's why we have had more problems in this section than the other area of the road.
He says it will take a couple of days for cleanup to take place once the weather allows. Minor landslips and fallen trees were reported in other areas such as Grand Roy St. John, Granville Vale St. George, Florida and Clogie St. John, and the Blando St. Andrew. Christina John, GBN News.
Several key issues were addressed at the Grenada Trade Center on Tuesday evening as Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell met with high-ranking officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force to chart the way forward with national security. More in this Rena Pierre-Thomas report.
Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is continuing his rounds in the various sectors as he met with high-ranking officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force on Tuesday. The meeting was held at the Grenada Trade Center, where a number of key items were discussed, and the Commissioner of Police, Edwin Martin, updated the Prime Minister on the functions and operations of the force. In his remarks, Prime Minister Mitchell spoke of the issues he intends to address within the Royal Grenada Police Force, some of which he mentioned in his election campaign.
I immediately addressed one of them, which is the issue of gender balance within the police force. I certainly think it will go a long way to addressing some of the PR issues that I think as a citizen and within the police force faces. I've also signaled on the campaign trail that I think a little rebranding of the Royal Grenada Police Force is necessary. I hope that I can win your support for that by thinking more of service rather than force, because I think force connotes the wrong idea as to what you do. You really serve the people of Grenada. I think we should have a name that is reflective of that.
Prime Minister Mitchell explains that on the top of his list for the RGPF is his promise to provide better working environment for the officers, not just in mainland Grenada, but in Carriacou and Petit Martinique as well.
The conditions under which police officers work, I think even a blind man can see, are not satisfactory in many instances, and they're far from ideal. And so one of the things my administration really is committed to doing is improving the physical environment in which police officers work. But this is not just peculiar to police officers. I think a lot of our public officers in general deserve better physical facilities to, just from a human dignity point of view, to ensure that you are able to perform better. Because it's quite clear a lot of the police stations were built eons ago. Many of them are probably not fit for human habitation and are ruin their usefulness and purpose.
The newly elected PM also met with all permanent secretaries in the various ministries on Tuesday morning as he gets up to speed with what is happening in the ministries and how they can chart the way forward for the next 5 years. For GBN News, I'm Rena Pierre-Thomas reporting.
Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell will assemble his team of ministers on Thursday at the Karani James Athletic Stadium as he charts the way forward, determined to rid the country of nepotism. More in this Chrislina John report.
The boxing match is over. The referees have ruled, and as the champion, it is our job to govern on behalf of all the citizens of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada.
The dust is settling with new Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell bent on directing government's path towards the transformation of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Prime Minister Mitchell was sworn in last Friday as the country's 9th Prime Minister during the ceremony at the Grenada Trade Center. It was at his swearing-in ceremony that he further outlined some of the changes he intended to make within government and statutory bodies. However, he said that this will be done based on merit and promised to do so with transparency. Prime Minister Mitchell also announced that a new cabinet will be appointed in the coming days.
Particularly as it relates to the government service in all aspects, whether it be police, teachers, nurses, doctors, the cooks at our schools, we need to run our country based on merit, based on hard work, based on the desire and the willingness to overcome and to find solutions to the challenges that face us. We will not move forward or prosper as a people if the sole basis for job selection, for promotion, for the award of contracts is party loyalty or personal loyalty. If we continue with this approach, we will be doing ourselves and the several generations of Grenadians to come a huge disfavor. And so under my leadership, I intend to break that vicious cycle of nepotism.
He called on Grenadians to join government to move the country forward.
Therefore, using this opportunity to call on all Grenadians who have prior to this shied away from public service, who shied away from serving on boards of statutory bodies or government entities. The doors are open. You are welcome. If you believe in serving your country, if you're a hard worker, and if you have the skills and talent, we, the people of Grenada, need you. And so I want to assure you, whether it's NAWASA, Grenlick, the Port Authority, the Airports Authority, Gravel and Concrete, MNIB, whatever body or institution it is, we need fresh, new faces with innovative ideas, driven by the common desire to make our country a better place.
The new leader promises to be transparent in the decisions they intend to make, ending on this note with an all-hands-on-deck approach.
And so the call is for all of us to stand united together to move PT Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada. To move PT Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada. To move PT Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada.
Christelina John, GBN.
The appointment of cabinet will be tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. And of course, GBN will cover all of it on their platforms. Well, Grenada dedicates July 9th to Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow, as he celebrates his 87th birthday. This is Grenada's way of paying tribute to the Grenadian-born Trinidad and Tobago citizen and resident entertainer. The announcement was made by Chairman of the Spice Mass Corporation, Arlie Gill.
A man born in Grand Roy. Grand Roy means great kings, and no doubt Sparrow is a great king. Calypso, king of the world, undisputed. And we are celebrating his 87th birthday on the July 9th. Sparrow's birthday is July 9th, and we believe that respect and commemoration and adulation should be paid to Slinger Francisco, a Grenadian, the mighty Sparrow, the greatest Calypsonian who ever lived.
Gill said they have noticed the many comments on social media about the contribution the legendary Calypsonian made to the calypso and soca industry in Grenada and the rest of the Caribbean.
The mighty Sparrow has done wonders for Caribbean civilization. The mighty Sparrow is a pioneer, and he has played a critical role in revolutionizing Caribbean society through music. A society and a civilization is just music, art, painting. And what Sparrow has done with regards to calypso music in this part of the Caribbean, second to none, and it should not escape our memory.
Gill reminds Grenadians that Calypsonians such as the Mighty Sparrow laid the foundation for Caribbean music on the regional and international platform. Spice Mass 2022 is well on the way, and officials from Spice Mass Corporation say that despite being overshadowed by the June 23rd general elections, all preparation is on the way and some events are ready to go. More in this Rena Pierre Thomas report.
Now that Grenada's general election is over, all eyes are on Spice Mass 2022 and what is expected over the next few weeks. Spice Mass officials are heading towards heavy promotional activities to let the public know of the upcoming events. Chairman of Spice Mass Corporation, Ali Gill, spoke of some of the events that can be expected in the coming days.
It's so bad that its sister tent will be opening on Saturday, and we encourage each and every Grenadian to support the Calypso tent. We are also aware that Northwest Brigade is in full swing with regards with rehearsals, and it is not too long for them to open up the doors, as well as the Calypso tent from St. David's led by Lady Cheryl and Papa Jerry. I know that the steel bands have started practicing for Panorama. I know that the mass bands have completed their designs and they are advertising the sale of their costumes. So it is now for patrons in Grenada and abroad to start purchasing their costumes and getting ready for Spice Mass.
While Spice Mass 2022 has had setbacks due to the June 23rd general elections, Gil says some soca and groovy artists are already registered for this year's competitions.
At this point, we can say that we've had, 59 soca artists registered to perform in the Soca Monarch competition and 47 groovy artists. This is a final call for all persons interested in participating and competing in the Soca Monarch and groovy competitions to register today. By latest tomorrow, because we have to close it. Soca Monarch prelims runs off this weekend, and the following weekend we'll have Groovy Monarch preliminaries.
The National Queen Show takes place on July 27th, and the various committees are preparing to launch Carnival in the different parishes, starting from St. Andrew this Sunday. CEO of Spice Mass Corporation, Kevin Jacob, said one of the activities Grenadians can look forward to is the return of Old Mass.
And this year's Spice Mass is teaming up with the Lions Club of Grenada to bring back Old Mass, and it will be on the 17th of July back at the Youth Center. So it will be an evening of fun and laughter, and we're inviting everyone to come out and see Old Mass again in 2022 as Spice Mass returns. You will be seeing more promotion on that in terms of information for tickets, registration, etc. will come out to the media shortly.
Both the CEO and the chairman are optimistic that after a 2-year break due to COVID-19, Carnival 2022 will be a great celebration. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Welcome back. Political parties who failed in their attempt to postpone the country's general elections vowed to appeal their case.
One of the injunction applications brought before the High Court hours before the general elections was filed in the name of John Rollo. As a visually impaired citizen, Mr. Rollo has been very vocal over the years about the lack of provisions in our elections process, which protects his constitutional right to cast his ballot in secret. The only provision made now by the Representation of the People Act is that a person can accompany a visually impaired person into the booth to assist in casting the ballot. However, for Mr. Rollo, this gave him no security as it relates solely on the honesty and integrity of the person assisting in the process. According to sources, the substantive issue is that Section 67 of the Representation of the People Act infringes upon Section 32, subsection 3 of the Constitution. Section 32, subsection 3 of the Constitution reads, "In any election of members of the House of Representatives, the vote shall be given by ballot in such a manner as not to disclose how any particular person votes." While Section 67, subsection 4 of the Representation of the People Act makes provision for a blind elector to be accompanied by a friend who is an elector in the same polling division into the voting booth and mark the ballot paper for him or her. The matter was heard before High Court Judge Justice Glasgow. Reports are that it was argued that the Parliamentary Elections Office must provide an avenue to vote without a blind person having to disclose who they vote for. It is reported that the claimants were outraged over the court's decision and plans to appeal. Another application was brought forward by the political parties Power and Grenada Empowerment Movement, along with the Independent Caucus for Constitution Reform. Political leader of Power, Andrea Rapier, says the parties reviewed the electoral process for 2022 since elections were called and put forward 12 violations in their appeal to the court.
The Constitution in Section 32 requires that the constituency returns a candidate, which means that the candidate must reside in the constituency in which he runs. Now, when I say that, does something come to mind? Of course, because we know that there are candidates who are living in one constituency and running for another. There's also a right to register to vote clause as well, and that is in the Representation of the People's Act, Section 5, 6, and 21. Anyone that is qualified to vote has the right to register to vote, and that right was taken away from many of our citizens this time.
Ms. Rapier says the judge did not hear the substantive matters, but rather asked the parties to withdraw due to them not satisfying a procedure of the court.
So on one of our affidavits, there was a failure to our lack of even knowing, but there is a certain statement that must be phrased in the beginning. And so the defense jumped on that saying, hey, judge, look, this isn't within procedural standards, so we really shouldn't go any further. We should just dismiss it. And it ultimately came down to, you have meat in your case, but if I listen to your case and place a judgment, the defense will look for you, the defense will appeal. And if it goes to a higher court, they're looking at how I myself have ignored the procedural standards to allow this case to be heard. However, it was withdraw the case or I dismiss it and charge you. And it was 3 of us as partners there. And the conclusion was that we will withdraw.
Rapier says the parties will not be daunted in their quest to ensure that elections in Grenada is a free and fair process. The other matter put forward by Martin Washington Edwards was also dismissed. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
That's right. We are the first thing you see in the morning, hopefully. Good Morning Grenada with Missy Chrissy and Gary, Mr. Smooth. Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. And of course, we're going to open the phone lines one time, same time, to see if we have a lucky winner this morning. Well, a winner that worked for it, all right? 435-2041 is the number. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Woodlands in St. George's.
Woodlands, all right. So is it raining by you?
No.
No? Okay. Good to know. So you have the answer for us?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jurassic World, Top Gun 2, Sonic 2, and Buzz Lightyear.
Sounds correct to me. Congratulations, caller. You are absolutely correct.
Thank you.
May we have your name, please?
Bernadette Roberts.
Bernadette Roberts?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You sure?
Yes.
So
I got a joke, so I was laughing. Sorry.
What's that?
No, I got a joke, so I was laughing.
I know. I got a joke too, but I held it in. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. You should share that joke with us when I find you being selfish.
No.
All right, Bernadette. Congratulations. You just won yourself a ticket.
Have a good one.
The movie Palace.
Thanks for calling. All right, there you go. A lucky winner is going to be watching a movie on these cozy days. I think movies make sense,
With popcorn. And soda?
Yeah, whatever you want to have.
There's a Customer Appreciation Day happening on July the 1st. That's at the Movie Palace, all right? So definitely.
That's tomorrow.
You can get a chance to win tickets to see Thor. Love and Thunder.
Wow. Is that a new Thor?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Where have you been?
I don't know. Minding my business. How about that? Drinking water and minding my business. All right, y'all.
Can't go wrong there.
So we are going to take a quick look at some of the effects of the tropical storm we had. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, we caught up with GBN camera crew, and they took us about to see some of the effects from the tropical cyclone number 2. All right, so let's go straight to that report. Master Control, if you oblige, if you don't mind.
Dumping heavy rains on the island overnight into this morning. The all clear was given early Wednesday morning, moving tropical storm warning notice from Grenada and its dependencies. However, heavy rains overnight resulted in a number of issues for many. As GBN's camera crew made the rounds, we were told that minor damage was done to properties in River Road area after the lower part of the St. John's River burst its banks once more. Madam Rasa, vendor and small business owner, says water impacted her business as usual. However, she has learned her lesson from past experiences.
The flood came twice last night. It was water, not so much as the last flood, but it was heavy enough because it reached me by my knee. They got flood, but I put everything on top. What I put on top of the roof, what I put on top of the fridge, the table. I had experience enough with the flood, so I wouldn't get hit easy anymore.
GBN caught up with the NDC's immediate candidate for the town of St. George, Claudette Joseph, who believes the completed portion of the St. John's River flood mitigation project somewhat helped alleviate a part of the flooding issue.
It seems as though the wall where it is completed has somewhat helped, you know, because most of the damage and the silt in the road and so is in this end, where there's some spaces in the wall still because it's under construction, or there's no wall as yet.
What we are looking at here is a massive landslippage that has taken place on entrance to the Monkuma Road. This would most definitely lead to a delay or even an extension to the Monkuma Road project. Our news crew got hold of Joseph Gilbert, project manager for the Monkuma Road project, whose team was on the ground conducting an assessment of damage as a result of the heavy rains.
Challenge, but that's what happens when you have those kind of works, especially when you have storms and so on. You expect to have some sort of damage. We are happy that it is minimal, bearing in mind the extent of rainfall that we have had overnight. The areas where we have had drains in place, we have had less problems. But this section here from the Bolio end, we have yet to put in the drainage systems and the retaining walls and so on. So that's why we have had more problems in this section than the other area of the road.
He says it will take a couple of days for cleanup to take place once the weather allows. Minor landslips and fallen trees were reported in other areas such as Grand Roy St. John, Granville Vale St. George, Florida and Clogie St. John, and the Blando St. Andrew. Christina John, GBN News.
Thank you, Christina. You know, she was ready for this report there, water boots and all.
You have to be ready.
Yeah.
I find it so interesting that in a tropical island, sometimes we're not ready for rain.
I know, right?
It's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. Yeah, so big up to Christina there, you know. I was impressed to see how she was making her way through the thick mud and, you know,
she understood the assignment.
Exactly.
She understood the assignment.
She was ready. She didn't go there with flip-flops. Happy to have seen that. You know what I'm saying?
Or high heels.
Oh, yeah, that would have been disastrous.
Pun intended.
But yeah. No, well, not on my end. But yeah, good pun there. All right. It's Good Morning Grenada. Yes, surely. Missy Chrissy on the inside. So we hope all is well. Everyone is have recovered from the tropical cyclone number 2 that somewhat brushed us. I think we would have escaped the worst, so we are thankful for that. Let's hope that we continue to escape the worst throughout this very, very active hurricane season.
Indeed, and there are still some systems out there coming very close by. So you want to keep your eyes, your ears glued to NADMA, the Met Office, for all the updates as it relates to weather, you know, for the season. And make sure you're ready at home as well.
Yeah, stock up on your non-perishable goods, foods, items, and stay ready. You know, don't be like me. I had to run hit a toe trying to get some candles the other day. He's like, hey, all your candles here. You understand? Whereas I should have had that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So make sure you have these things. Yeah, you know, if you're still a fan of, lantern, you know, make sure you stock up on your kerosene.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you have your lantern ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good.
And make sure everything is safe in terms of fires as well, because we don't want any issues. So, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
So, listen, we getting ready for Spice Mass 2022, you know. All right? And it seems like the Spice Mass Corporation is just as ready. Okay? So, it's incumbent upon us now to be ready just the same. All right? So, Grenada is now, realigning its focus. We just came from a very heated election, and we can put that behind us now and focus on what is ahead, which is Carnival 2022. We talking about Veco, we talking about Juve, we talking about fancy masks and all them kind of thing. I know Chrissy likes she fancy masks. She's got this whole sailor thing.
Who tell you I like fancy masks?
I like them. So you tell them I like.
You know, funny enough, there's a reason I'm doing sailor masks. And I'll just say that. There's a reason I'm doing sailor masks. I like variations of masquerade.
You love your fancy mask, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but sailor mask is not fancy mask, it's traditional mask.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually traditional mask. So you thought it was fancy?
I think it's fancy.
There's fancy sailor, which is a little different. It's like a more costumed version.
Right, no, go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm being schooled here this morning, guys.
Is it not a problem?
Go ahead.
But you see the thing, and that's the issue. We haven't had sailor mask in decades that we actually don't realize that it's one of our traditional mask characters. You know, so yeah, there will be some schooling this carnival when you see us on the road. You know.
So speaking about traditional masks, sailor mask being one of them, can you point to another one?
Sure.
Is missing?
Yeah, we have missing. I don't know if I can tell you missing per se, because there's so many, and sometimes there are similarities across the different islands. But in terms of Grenada, the more popular ones, of course, there's the Jab Jab as a traditional masquerade. There's also the Veco. There's the short knee, and we have I'm missing one, the Moko Jambi as well is part of that also, of the traditional mask. There's the Wild Indian as well. So those are some of the popular ones we tend to see in Grenada with traditional mask characters, and they all have very unique costume, very unique chants that they do, very unique dances, including even the sailors. So, and they all have a specific significance to them as well. So some people might be
sailor mask is separate and distinct from what might be depicted on Carnival Tuesday fancy mask. All right, so I kind of got that confused there. So
right, so it's not fancy, but it's traditional. So it's under the traditional
theme.
Right, exactly. Because you know, there's fancy mask, which is more of the fantasy costumes, right? Pretty mask, we would traditionally say in Grenada, and then there's the traditional mask, which would speak to those traditional characters.
Because I thought it was an attempt to get away from the more erotic, you know, skimpy clothing kind of thing. You know what I mean? Bring back the olden days when folks used to be, you know, with flowery dress and stuff, you know what I mean? And that was pretty mask back then.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all has its place. Mass evolves, and you can't take that away from the people who enjoy it. But I think with the sailor mass, at least, we're giving people more options. We're, you know, reaching people who have not necessarily played mass in so long, and because they haven't had that option, you know. So that's what it is. But I know we have a clip from the Spice Mask Corporation. Is it?
Yes, it is. We have a clip from GBN. They interviewed spoke to the leader of the Spice Mask Corporation, Ali Gill, and I think he acted in the position of chairman.
He is the chair, yes.
Yep. And let's go check that clip out. When we come back, we'll discuss some more. It's Good Morning Grenada.
General election is over. All eyes are on Spice Mask 2022 and what is expected over the next few weeks. Spice Mask officials are heading towards heavy promotional activities to let the public know of the upcoming events. Chairman of Spice Mask Corporation, Ali Gill, spoke of some of the events that can be expected in the coming days.
It's so bad that his sister tent will be opening on Saturday, and we encourage each and every Grenadian to support the Calypso tent. We are also aware that Northwest Brigade is in full swing with regards with rehearsals, and it is not too long for them to open up their doors, as well as the Calypso tent from St. David's led by Lady Cheryl and Papa Jerry. I know that the steel bands have started practicing for Panorama. I know that the mass bands have completed their designs and they are advertising the sale of their costumes. So It is now for patrons in Grenada and abroad to start purchasing their costumes and getting ready for Spice Mass.
While Spice Mass 2022 has had setbacks due to the June 23rd general elections, Gil says some soca and groovy artists are already registered for this year's competitions.
At this point, we can say that we've had, 59 soca artists registered to perform in the Soca Monarch competition and 47 groovy artists. This is a final call for all persons interested in participating and competing in the Soca Monarch and groovy competitions to register today by latest tomorrow, because we have to close it. Soca Monarch prelims runs off this weekend, and the following weekend we'll have groovy Monarch preliminaries.
The National Queen Show takes place on July 27th, and the various committees are preparing to launch Carnival in the different parishes starting from St. Andrew this Sunday. CEO of Spice Mass Corporation Kevin Jacob said one of the activities Grenadians can look forward to is the return of Old Mass.
This year's Spice Mass is teaming up with the Lions Club of Grenada to bring back Old Mass, and it will be on the 17th of July back at the Youth Center. So it will be an evening of fun and laughter, and we're inviting everyone to come out and see Old Mass again in 2022 as Spice Mass returns. You will be seeing more promotion on that in terms of information for tickets, registration, etc. will come out to the media shortly.
Both the CEO and the chairman are optimistic that after a 2-year break due to COVID-19, Carnival 2022 will be a great celebration. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Thank you very much, Rena Pierre Thomas, with that report right there. You feeling the vibe, Missy?
I've been feeling the vibe. This vibe, listen, I've been waiting for 3 years for this.
Yeah.
You know, it is to have every August come around, and then it's like, we're not having Carnival this year, even if we had no cases. You know, that used to hurt.
I kind of feel there should be, if there hasn't been any mention, there should be kind of like a relaunch.
A relaunch of what exactly?
Of Carnival.
I believe there was a Carnival launch, though.
There was one.
Mm-hmm. You wanted it to be extra?
I think elections might have, kind of.
I think it was quite some time ago.
Yeah, I think election it might have lost its impact. You feel me?
Oh, you mean because of elections you want Carnival to relaunch again?
Yeah, let's do a rerun now.
We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, and morning, Mr. Food.
Morning.
I don't think we need to relaunch, if we maybe just, as you say, we refocus and so on. But my main issue, the point I want to make this morning is in relation to one of the character masters that we continue to refer to as wild Indians. Even in the United States, in the baseball and others, I think baseball and hockey also, some of the names that they had attributed to Indian, like the Redskin and so on, they're changing those things now. So we need to look and see where some of the colonial negative aspect that we inherit, whether we need not to change it. And for instance, I would suggest instead of saying wild Indian, we probably could put it as Native Indians.
Oh, so you think the word wild could be possibly taken in some sort of negative, right?
And this is from the colonial situation. It's just like our people in Africa were described as savage and uncivilized. So I'm not saying let's change the mass, but change the name of the mass. I mean, at least tweak it.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that.
It's the same thing like how we will feel insulted if people use the N-word towards us, or the people of African descent, or the C-word to people of East Indian descent. Mm-hmm. We need to correct these things. So I'm just suggesting that we look at those things and reform it, or revise it, or whatever.
Indeed, you're giving a task to the Cultural Foundation today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much. Interesting point.
Yeah, because you recall that what was once the the Redskins, Washington Redskins. You know, that name was heavily criticized as being somewhat, you know, derogatory in some ways, until they had to change the name.
Right.
You know, until they had to change the name. So, a lot of people are waking up to some of those rather, you know, subliminal, you know, negative meaning behind some of the names we've just managed to pass off as nothing. I mean, never really gave any serious thoughts to.
Yeah, it's so good to just bring it to one's attention, especially when something has been done for so long. So thank you so much, caller, for that one. Good morning, you're live.
A pleasant good morning. I do have a concern, and I'll tell you what my concern is. Now, first of all, I don't know what the standing is with people getting COVID, who getting over, and that sort of thing. Wouldn't it be, before I make that point, there are quite a lot of people, we haven't had carnival for quite a while, and, you know, my skin itching me, and I want to jump up, etc. Wouldn't it be very risky to have John public mixing on the carnival days, the pageant, the whatever? Because the thing about it is this, that I personally, when I go to town, I don't go without a mask. Because there's no certainty of, all right, we've got rid of COVID. I heard on the radio some weeks ago that, all right, you could wear masks if you want, if you don't. And I think all of these things are just nonsensical and stupid. I know I'd be criticized for making a statement like this, but this is my concern. And I'm wondering if it isn't a risk to have carnival as per usual. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Antonio Allspice is wondering where the word wild pertaining to Indian came from. All right?
Yeah.
Good morning to you, Antonio. And those are some of the comments rolling in from our Facebook Live viewers right about now. Thank you guys for being a part of it. I think all this hype of all this type of works and retaining walls should be finished before the rainy weather starts. Things that take too long get done. By now, they should know the areas that flood most. And that's coming from Alison Cox on the Facebook Live. Good morning to you, Alison.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the Grenville, the town of Grenville. You know, those drains. It's really interesting one to walk through. So yes, it'd be good if all of those could be done soon. Sorry. Good morning. You're live. Hello. So strange. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Gary, you were asking a question?
I was wondering if they started any sort of remedial work in that regard in the Grenville area.
There's been it's an active construction site. Okay. It's been that way for the last few weeks. Okay. Yes, okay. And it's not complete, and it's, I must say, very dangerous to walk through. You know, yeah. So
I guess we gotta make haste, get the work done, because you know it's unfortunate that we are just at the start of the rainy season, and now we are incomplete as far as those works are concerned.
We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I just want to get my little bit. Yeah, good morning.
Can you just turn down your TV or radio and speak to us directly on the phone, okay? So I'll give you a quick second for that. All right.
Good morning.
Yes.
I just want to chime in on the traditional mass thing. How it's misunderstood by all and sundry who is playing it in these times. First of all, when you look at these shows, the pageant shows and those shows with the traditional mass, and you have these big DJs and them playing to everybody that come on stage, across the stage, while Indian, Shortney, Veco, everybody seems to be whining to DJ music. traditional masks have their own sound. They don't need one scrap of DJ. You take away when you put a DJ around our traditional mass band. The chant the violin have is French, total French. You need to hear what they are saying. You need to watch what they are doing. The another point is that in the competitions, what they do is that they put all the characters, all the different masks together and judge them. So when you hear the judging, you hear in the first place a violin, a Veco band from Wolf. In the second place, a Shortney band. In the third place, a violin band. That's a joke. That's a big, big joke. They cannot have the same criteria. They are not doing the same thing. So what you have to do is the first place in each category, in each phase of the thing. You have first in violin, second in violin, third in violin. First in Shortney, second in Shortney, third in Shortney. But because probably are the funds, because remember, these people preparing to play mass. And you think $500 is good as a price? Our first price for our band is $500, $1,000, and people feel they're well paid. And that is a big joke. Another thing is that traditional mass bands supposed to be very small. 10, 12, 15, the most. When you put, and you hear my partner Leakey saying that his band is 100 strong, there is a fancy traditional band you bring in there. You can't see and you can't hear what the chantman is saying with a band 100 strong. These bands are supposed to be small so you can hear and see. Once you're only seeing, there is fancy mass. Fancy mass, you don't hear nothing fancy mass. Fancy mass is a big, long band 200 strong, and you're seeing, you don't supposed to hear. You hear the music. But the traditional, okay, for instance, the mass that Carrico play, the Shakespeare mass, there can't be more than 2 people playing Shakespeare mass. Because when I chant, you chant back. So when you hear somebody saying you go and join a Shakespeare band, you go and join to learn to play Shakespeare to get a partner on your own. So Shakespeare band can be 5, 6, and 7 people. You're making the thing a big joke there. And what you're doing too, you're not encouraging and creating leaders when you do that. Because what you're creating is followers. Nobody wants to come on their own and prepare and bring something. They just want to join. I could say a lot more. Yeah. I hear you a lot more traditional mass. But and you all leave out old mass. No, I am disputedly, or my band is disputedly, the best old mass band ever passed in Grenada. Because we have won old mass competition Tuesday morning for 31 consecutive years. And I hear you all talk about Lions and old mass. And we are here. Nobody contacts us. Nobody said anything.
31 consecutive years?
And not only that, but in 3 of those 31 years, when I say band, I mean old mass band with characters 50-something, 60-something, and 70-something strong every morning. No other band over the years could bring out more than 10 people. And we bring it out.
What's the name of your band?
70-something.
What's the name of your band?
Every character is different.
Oh, so there wasn't an
congratulations to you, sir.
No. What happened to is that over the years we realized that the traditional mass was dying. Mm-hmm. So we got together, quite a number of us, a group of us, and went right from the island and met with all traditional mass bands and so. The meeting was in Sotes. And we formed a association called TIBA, Traditional Individual and Band Association. That was the same year when the statement 100,000 jobs was made. And that was the very same year that they had the traditional massing in Victoria. We were part of that. And somewhere along the line, I don't know what is the problem. People always simply want to grab on and want to I don't want to use the word power, to be in front and to be in a showcase that thing, whatever it is. We were
15 seconds to wrap, though. We got to move on.
Yeah, we were silent up to this thing. Maybe I'll call it next time. Let somebody else call to say something. But that's my contribution for this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. And maybe it'd be good for us to interview that caller some other time on that topic of old mass, because it sounds like he has quite a lot of information to share.
Came with a lot of nuggets there, man.
Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. If we have people who know the details, they have to pass it on to the other generation. That's the only how it continues.
I like
you see what I'm saying?
I like what you said about creating leaders and not followers.
There you go.
Isn't that something?
It has to be passed on. We'll take one more caller. We have about a minute for this call, and then we'll take a quick break. Good morning. You're live on Good Morning Grenada.
Morning. How are you all today?
Good. You?
Yeah, I think you all missed the name of the guy. If you should catch his name.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What I want to speak on is like a couple of days ago, we all had a program.
Do you mind speaking up a little bit for us, sir?
I said a couple of days ago, you all on the program, you all mentioned about horse, and it seems to be like horse is something strange. But it's like the new generation don't know that. But we that grew up in the elders know that. From Sugar Mill roundabout to the True Blue roundabout, that was only horse and cows. From where the Chinese putting up that asphalt plant in Point Saline, from there to where Sanders is, that was cows and horse. The whole of Lansapine was cows and horse. In those days, Lansapine had 4 houses. Also, Point Saline was 3 houses, the estate. Then you had Queen's Park with horses. Then the horses used to train on Granance Beach because of the dead sand. They run in the dead sand with the bag on their back and they bathe in the sea. And so by running in the dead sand, they run faster when they reach on the hard surface. They also used to be cleaning them, washing them in the sea. Then again, we used to sell horses for Barbados and Trinidad and these other islands. We also used to, Queen's Park, we used to race horses in Queen's Park. And so there's, because of the new generation and they don't know, and the same thing we talk about, the history is going away. A lot of people not knowing things. And even we go from Wesley Hall School and from all down Granance, Calais, and whatever, when the horse is going up, that was a faster way for us to reach to school because all children running with and following the horse going up, and the horses and they're moving fast. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for calling. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still.
So what happened though? Because I've heard that we used to have so many horses, but right now you only have a few private people with just a handful of horses, and in fact we're importing horses sometimes from St. Lucia. So what happened along the way in the last few decades, you would say?
Right. Well, what I will say, as I told you, Lansapine had 4 houses. Right now, you see Lansapine, there's no places for horses and cows. Same thing, where I tell the True Blue roundabout. There's no places for horse and cow there anymore. Same thing, Point Saline, no horses, no places for horse and cow. Same thing, the park. No places for horse and cow, so we're dealing with more houses.
Okay. I made the comment that horses is something alien to Grenadians. So you are actually correcting me there, right? That couldn't be further from the truth. You're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's alien now because of the generation and the modern things that we have. Mm-hmm. So that is what depleting the thing. It's the same thing like the horticulture.
Now, actually, when I made the statement, I was thinking in Grenadian history, but you were clearing that up.
Yeah, we are accustomed to horses. Grenada have a lot of horses. And I made him make the thing about the horticulture. It's the same thing like the horticulture. All of the lands that used to have canes and all these stuff, it's gone for houses and other plate things. So that is why you find the horticulture thing is depleting. But one thing they have to understand is that almost every Grenadian is a farmer, because they all household, we're doing some part of farming, so our farming is small farming, so we have to just bring in the produce. We're supposed to have a factory to bring in the produce. Like in my days, young days, we had a lime factory, we had soap factory in Tempe, you had the making cheese in the Gulf Coast, all the milk going there, a lot of things happening. But now you don't have a factory to bring the stuff to. And what I'm saying is, even in the olden days, we used to have to get these things to the factory, one truck passing around sometimes, and now there's so many vehicles. You can take you bag a lime or you produce to the factory very easy. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you so
with
much.
the history lesson.
Very much so,
All right. Good stuff. This is Good Morning Grenada, 23 minutes on to 8 o'clock in the morning time. We're going to shift gears when we come back. Stay with us.
Are you busy during the week and have no time to go to the credit union to access your loans? Do you wish there were more days available to you? We can help. Our Loan Saturday is back by popular demand this and every Saturday at the GUT Credit Union Grandance Branch, Excel Plaza. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you have access to your credit union even on a weekend. So come on in and take advantage of our services every Saturday. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Welcome to Nurses Care, a new home healthcare company on Ireland, changing the way you receive healthcare. From registered nurses and aides to medical doctors and qualified physicians, we offer a wide range of healthcare services, from monitoring chronic conditions and medications to elderly care, pediatric care and maternity nurses, to even housekeeping and case management. We offer 24/7 in-house healthcare services. So contact us today for your in-house consultation at 439-3928. They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
Level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Carnival costume? Check. Monday wear? Check. Unlimited premium drinks? Check. Meals, a security, cool-down bus, mobile restrooms, plus Vaughn and other international performances? Check, 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 and check. The Carnival Mass Band Nirvana is ready for the road for Spice Mass. Backline, midline, and frontline costumes for men and women. Nirvana is the perfect state of happiness on the road for Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Register now at nirvanaempire.com. Call or WhatsApp us on 407-INFO. That's 407-4636. Instagram at Nirvana Empire. View our costumes at the Nirvana Showroom, La Marquis Complex, Grand Anse. Play Mass with Nirvana.
What's the body
you today.
Yes. I was right there when Sheldon Douglas won that crown, and people start, cussing and behaving as you give Sheldon that crown.
Right.
I was there when Specky made the whole stadium sit down.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know if Missy was there. I didn't know if he did it.
I did it.
All right, thank you for our legs. You know what? I listened to that song this morning, and for the first time from the few times prior I've listened, it really hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
It's a good history lesson.
Not just the history, the vibe, the total vibe of the song, man.
It's a good song. It's well written.
Yeah,
and I think it's I think it's a few things all together. So big up to Mr. Legs wherever you are. Well, I know where you are. You're in New York, coming to Grenada soon. But first of all, that cell phone rhythm is, of course, we said a remake. So it's a 2.0 of the original, and then also playing on the historical element of some of the topical things that would have happened in Carnival over the last few years. So I think it's just genius. And then playing on a slang that became popular during the elections just a few weeks ago. So I think that's, it's genius writing right there.
Genius.
Yeah, man.
You wouldn't be the only one writing that theme, though.
Right. I think there's someone else. I heard another song as well with the same hook, not the same melody, but in terms of the lyrics. Yeah. With Wade today.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see how those songs compete, grow, and make way for this 2022 Carnival. But rather interesting. So yeah.
Indeed. All right.
2022.
Yeah, man. So we're shifting gears a bit. We know that the Prime Minister is hitting the ground running, it seems, Gary.
It seems so, and in fact, he has made a few stops. I know he has stopped off at I think it was just GIS. He stopped off there, paid the workers there a visit, made himself, familiar with the workers there, probably much to their surprise and delight at the same time. Then he also met with the different permanent secretaries. All right, and now he has met with the top brass of the Royal Grenada Police Force. So let's check out this report, and we'll chat some when we come back.
Met with high-ranking officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force on Tuesday. The meeting was held at the Grenada Trade Center, where a number of key items were discussed, and the Commissioner of Police, Edwin Martin, updated the Prime Minister on the functions and operations of the force. In his remarks, Prime Minister Mitchell spoke of the issues he intends to address within the Royal Grenada Police Force, some of which he mentioned in his election campaign.
I've immediately addressed one of them, which is the issue of gender balance within the police force. I certainly think it will go a long way to addressing some of the PR issues that I think as a citizen I believe the police force faces. I've also signaled on the campaign trail that I think a little rebranding of the Royal Grenada Police Force is necessary. I hope that I can win your support for that by thinking more of service rather than force. Because I think force connotes the wrong idea as to what you do. You really serve the people of Grenada, and I think we should have a name that is reflective of that.
Prime Minister Mitchell explains that on the top of his list for the RGPF is his promise to provide better working environment for the officers, not just in mainland Grenada, but in Carriacou and Petit Martinique as well.
And the conditions under which police officers work, thinking a blind man can see, are not satisfactory in many instances, and they're far from ideal. And so one of the things my administration really is committed to do is improving the physical environment in which police officers work. But this is not just peculiar to police officers. I think a lot of our public officers in general deserve better physical facilities to, just from a human dignity point of view, to ensure that you are able to perform better. Because it's quite clear a lot of the police stations were built eons ago. Many of them are probably not fit for human habitation and have outgrown their usefulness and purpose.
The newly elected PM also met with all permanent secretaries in the various ministries on Tuesday morning as he gets up to speed with what is happening in the ministries and how they can chart the way forward for the next 5 years. For GBN News, I'm Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Definitely. Love the part about where he said service as opposed to force. So I can imagine a name change in the future. We'll see how that goes. But,
interesting.
Yeah.
Again, another one of those things like the Wild Indian, where we've said it for so long, we don't realize perhaps what it could be meaning.
Yeah, in the subconscious, and then it comes to the forefront because we've been saying police force for the last for as long as we can recall.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And, we've come down hard on the police force for probably using too much force.
What?
in some occasions. All right.
We have a call on the line. Good morning. You're live.
Morning, BC Chrissy. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Morning, Mr. Smooth.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, today's a special day for me. I'm celebrating today. Today is my birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You actually celebrate your birthday, right?
Life. I celebrate life.
I know you don't vote,
life.
so I have to wonder.
Excuse me?
I know you don't vote, so I have to wonder if you are celebrating birthdays.
You make me laugh. But anyway, I vote or don't vote, we still have to live under the same government, No matter what whether we vote or we don't vote, anything that come, we have to accept it,
Happy birthday, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you. I heard one of the brothers talks about Shakespeare Mass. What Shakespeare have to do with black people? What Shakespeare have to do with African people? William Shakespeare was part of the elite. Was part of the brotherhood. Shakespeare was all Satanist. I don't see why African people should be celebrating Shakespeare. Why they should be playing Shakespeare Mass? Because I don't see Shakespeare had nothing to do with Africa. Shakespeare, as I say, was part of the elite. He was part of the brotherhood. He was a big player in the brotherhood. The elite, what is running the world. So I don't understand why people should be thinking about playing Shakespeare Mass. Because one day I'm thinking to go up to Carrico to see really what Shakespeare Mass is all about, so I can deal with it in a better area. Talk about it in a more longer term. Because as I said, Shakespeare had nothing to do with Africa. So why Africa Mass is Carnival is about African? So why should be celebrating some Shakespeare Mass?
Maybe we let somebody from Carrico answer that question, huh?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, my brother.
Yep,
okay,
man.
you guys have a nice day.
Same to you. Thanks for your contribution. Yes, indeed. Point taken, caller. Point taken.
Yeah, and the truth is,
never thought about it.
Even Sailor Mass too. I ain't gonna lie, I have thought about it. I have thoughts about it, but the truth is, if we go down that road, there's so much we would have to change in our society, and maybe with the whole reparations talk, that starts to be a conversation, because there's so much. Much.
People have sailed long before.
Even the fact that we're wearing, the clothes that we wear, like down to not even. I'm talking about just clothes in general. I'm not even talking mass. I'm talking really almost every element of our society.
Yeah.
Just because we came from a colonial past. There are just certain things that are now, what we're calling Caribbean is a blend of various things, African, European, and in some instances Asian as well. And that's a whole interesting conversation. Should we take another phone call?
Well, I've been searching around the city to get some dashiki and I can't find any.
You're looking in the wrong place. Oopsie, we lost that caller.
So if you're going to get to clothing, are they available? You know what I mean? Are the options available? And
there are a few stores who sell authentic wax clothing. Well, it has to be expensive. It's coming from a far place, and if it's authentic, then it's quality. You want cheap clothes.
The pervasive nature of Western culture and fashion, is almost inescapable. But here,
there's so much. The fact that we speak in English. Let's start there. Right?
How about that?
We speak in English, so
and you try to correct my English. Hello.
Right? The fact that we speak standard English and we put down the Grenadian Creole, there's so much if we really go on that conversation. You see what I'm saying?
We could dedicate an entire show plus some.
All right, let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, morning again, ladies and gentlemen. In the first instance, the name of the police force was changed in the revolution to service,
Oh, really?
After invasion. the folks, just like Fort Rupert was changed back to Fort George, or our Bonnet Bailey Secondary School was changed to Happy Secondary. And I forget the first name of Robinson, Richardson Jeremiah Secondary School in St. Andrews. The Grenville Secondary School was changed back to Grenville Secondary. So sometimes we make one step forward and then we make 10 backward. So that what happened. So, and I really, if I had any doubt about the new Prime Minister in terms of really wanting change, these are some of the pointers that he really wants to make this place a better place. I don't know the gentleman, but at least he seems to be doing everything in the right direction. Mm-hmm. In terms of the Shakespeare Mass, I think we have to put those things in context. We don't just throw the baby in the bathtub. There's certain things we have to understand how it evolved and make it better, because there's some learning to take place in the Shakespeare Mass situation, and it's unique to Carriacou. So not because we want to but we have to do everything with reason and with some temperament. In terms of, I like what Chrissy said about the language. In fact, I have been contending on that for the longest while, and even one of your callers who called earlier, one time almost strongly disagreed with me, only to understand later on that what I was saying, because there was a time we were celebrating independence, and there was this conversation on your very radio station about whether we are independent, and I contended, no, that before we had referendum thing, because we still use the Queen's English. We have not gone back to try to even evolve our patois. We still despise people, say you're speaking bad and that kind of thing, without understanding that there's different ways to express ourselves. What we have to do is to set standards. We want to be part of the international community, so we must help our people to be able to speak standard English. But other than that, how we communicate with each other, once it's not disrespectful, that's not a problem. In fact, in Tanzania, one of the things that Julius Nyerere did, because of the different issues, the thing with tribes and so on, in order to unify the Tanzanian nation, they made Kiswahili the number one language and make English the second language. So we have to have something that we are able to communicate to all of us there. There's no language, right? Maybe English, and still a lot of our people don't understand English. We don't understand English, and the fact is that English is not our first language.
It's not.
Mr. Belfon, bring Mr. Belfon on the radio and let him talk to that, and some other people. Anyway,
You know what? Anyway. I really hate cutting you, because when you do call, you come with such substance. But unfortunately, we have to move on.
No problem. I understand. Right. No problem.
All right. Good.
Thank you so much. Valuable.
Yeah. Not too long ago, I had that very same conversation with someone. It's like, not too long ago, our parents, grandparents could not have spoken the English very well, simply because they were not schooled. And that was not very long. Slavery was not that far removed from our history. A lot of people think it's this distant past. It's really not that long ago. All right? So, moving on.
Yes, indeed.
Gary, do you know that Grenada hosted the World Fair? That is why, and I lost that. You see the thing about these Facebook messages, as soon as you start reading it, boop, another message replaces it. All right. Anyways, in short, what that person is saying, I think you're saying Lansdowne Road is in such good condition today is because of that. Because of that
Expo.
World Fair.
You're talking about Expo 69?
69.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, lots of roads, not just that road. A lot of roads became roads. They could call themselves roads
because of Expo 69.
Because of that.
Yeah.
And again, it's what I must say though, and I appreciate all the callers this morning, especially the ones who gave us the history lessons, is that we need to continue these conversations with the generations around us. So whether it's your neighbors that are younger, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, calling in the media and making sure that's really how we ensure that everyone knows your neighbor what's happening, and writing books, songs, those are the ways we have to document it.
And the impetus behind that is people like you and I who are not shy and to talk about these topics, who there are some people who still cringe when talking about the colonial past and replacing, like this person is saying, we need to change the colonial names and put our local hero or people who made the mark and changes that changed Grenadian lives as Archbishop and other local villagers as Peter Bain. So we need to get busy with that. But like I was saying, some people cringe. Some people are like, that is the past, the leader day, because they really don't want to step on other people's feet.
Yeah,
don't want to hurt feelings.
You know what I like to think of? I like to think of two things. When we have any local news, I like to think of what it's going to be like to that person watching us on TV in Jamaica, hearing news from Grenada. And then the other thing I like to think of is 100 years from now, what do we have that the generations could know of what happened before? So something as simple as having something named Karani James Boulevard, that does something to that primary school student in 2053, because they're going to know, they're going to have to look that up as part of their school projects. Or they're going to just think, who is Karani? Or at least they know the name Karani James, So those are the things we have to think about as we move forward, not just for us, not just for our generations, but for the ones to come.
Yeah, amen to that, sister. I know we're getting ready for the news, but before we go, let me quickly state that the police commissioner has not abdicated his post, and that's a report coming from the Royal Grenada Police Force. So now the Royal Grenada Police Force hereby notifies the general public that the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Edwin Martin, is presently out of state on official government duties and has not abdicated his post as commissioner, as is rumored. All right, there is more to this release, but we're going to stop right there. So I'm just doing my part, throwing that out there so that can be dispelled.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Gary, for that update. And of course, that's it for Good Morning Grenada. Thank you so much for rocking with us, Missy Chrissy and Gary, Mr. Smooth. I'm still here on radio, so you can keep it locked.
Hey, catch me out Hot 98 if you so please. And hey, thanks a lot, Missy. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Indeed. Take care.